Good morning, everybody. It's 12 minutes past 7 o'clock right now. Welcome back to the program. It is Tuesday, and it is time to visit with our good friend, Ron the Car Guy. They teach you a little something about your vehicle, Jackie, and this is very important, especially this time of year when people are doing some changing when it comes to getting some traction about, probably in the next couple of months. So, again, this is a very important topic.
Yep. There's going to be a lot of wheels coming off and going on cars. I mean, they should come off and go on every 6,000 miles. That's how often you're supposed to rotate your tires. But this topic, this was kind of cool. I had an email sent to me, and it was from Jolene Hines of Ames, and she had a recent experience, and she said, I think this is a topic maybe you should talk about. And it's a topic that we see, through AAA and our roadside assistance. I mean, we see this relatively often, or too often in my opinion, and it's just one of those things you don't always think about, hey, this would be a good topic to talk about on TV, but we're going to talk about lug nuts coming off cars.
Okay, coming off cars.
How often does that, I know we talk tires when it comes to AAA service and towing, things like that, but I've never heard specifically lug nuts being the issue.
I went back and I kind of looked at the calls over like the last 90 days, and we see it about once a week.
Really?
Yeah,
where a wheel comes off?
A wheel comes off because the lug nuts either sheared off, and the reason lug nuts all shear off is because they were loose, or people will have a vibration and they'll stop, and there's one or two lug nuts left holding the wheel on.
Jeez.
Wow.
So loose. Now keep in mind, I mean, we're running 80 some calls a day.
Yeah.
So when you look at as a percentage, it's not,
low, but it's still happening. That's the important
it's still
thing.
happening. Yeah, it's still happening, and we end up towing the vehicle in, and of course when that happens, if you catch it earlier enough, it's not a big deal. But more often than not, I mean, it's a lot of money to fix it. It ruins the lug studs and the wheel. And
now, does the stud actually break off?
Oh yeah,
okay.
We've had them where all of them have just sheared off.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because we don't see it because it's covered, or we're just not paying attention?
Yeah, if you had a hubcap, you wouldn't see it. Or I mean, when was the last time you went out and looked at your lug nuts?
Nah, never.
I mean, when I leave here today, I could go take 4 of your 5 lug nuts off. You're not going to notice it until you get going down the road.
True.
It's not something you see.
Don't get any ideas. Okay, so you brought in a gigantic tool with you today.
I did. I brought in a wrench. This is a torque wrench, and this is kind of more of an entry-level type one, but it's about a $350 tool, and this is what is supposed to be used when lug nuts are installed on your car.
No, why not just take the wrench that comes in the back and put it on, and when it gets tight, you say you're done.
And if you go and look up the manufacturer has a specification that says, hey, this lug nut should be tightened to, they call it foot-pounds, 90 foot-pounds, 100 foot-pounds, 70 foot-pounds, whatever it is. You don't know what that is unless you use this special tool. And you can adjust this to the number of foot-pounds, and you tighten it. When it gets to that point, it quits turning the lug nut. It makes a clicking noise.
It clicks,
so yep, exactly. So this is how a lug nut should be put on a car. And so if you're changing your own tire or rotating your own tires, you should always go somewhere and have it checked. I mean, have them torqued afterwards to make sure they're proper. Because what'll happen over time is you're driving down the road and those lug nuts start to loosen up, and then the wheel gets a little bit loose, and hopefully you'll feel a vibration or notice a vibration and say, hey, there's something going on here. I better get this looked at.
Like a wobble in your steering wheel.
Exactly. But if you don't, they'll continue to loosen up. In Jolene's case,
I was gonna say, what was the email about?
Well, she said that she had her some work done on her tires, and they put it back on, and she got going down the road, and after she had driven it for a while, she started hearing this whoop 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 type noise, and so she didn't ignore it. It was a warning sign. So she got out, she checked it out, and she said when she stopped, she had 2 of the 5 lug nuts were left on the wheel.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, what do you do then? Because 3 are missing. I mean, it's not like you have extra lug nuts. You're going to have to, have the car towed or call somebody and bring me some lug nuts, and hopefully it didn't ruin the bolts and stuff like that. But they just weren't put on tight enough.
I was going to say this was after having someone work on our vehicle. Correct.
Correct.
So it just wasn't done properly.
Correct. Maybe they didn't use a torque wrench or shortcut it. I mean, obviously we weren't there. We don't know why, but what happened to her is just it's not uncommon. And the other thing to keep in mind too when tightening wheels, I think we've got a graphic to show. This is a sticker. This is actually on a trailer that we worked on. I just noticed it's in the shop the other day because a wheel came off.
Okay.
And but it says check and retorque after the first 10 to 25 miles, and then again at 50 miles. This particular trailer, it's a motorcycle trailer, and it's got aftermarket wheels on. It's got like some aluminum wheels on.
Nice ones, yeah.
Yeah, and that's even more important. If you put aluminum wheels on your vehicle, or go somewhere and put aftermarket wheels to dress up your vehicles, those are even more critical.
Why is that?
Because the metal on the wheel is soft, and so what you need to do is you need to torque it, and then 50 miles later, it needs to be retorqued a second time.
What, because will the lug nut seat into the wheel?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Everything will seat in, and then they could loosen up, so you got to tighten them a second time. I mean, you have to tighten them every 50 miles, but the manufacturer of those wheels says, recheck and retorque in 50 miles, just like it said on that trailer. Actually, that trailer had 2 more retorques, which, it sounds like a, pain in the butt.
Right.
I just had my tires rotated. Okay, I got to pay attention. I drove at 50 miles or so, and now I got to retorque them again.
Right.
But that's what needs to be done, and if you don't, you run the risk of the lug nuts coming off and the wheel flying off the car.
Having your wheels come off.
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
So what's the big message today? Just making sure it's done properly, to make sure you're keeping an eye on things
whenever
like
your
this?
wheel's off, if you had it fixed, or a tire fixed, or had brakes done, or they rotated, or whatever the situation was, just ask, hey, did you retorque those? Did you properly torque those? I mean, I don't think that's insulting to ask when it's, your car,
right,
your money, if it does come off, and potentially, injury if that wheel comes off going down the road.
And then pay attention to your vehicle as well in case you feel a shimmer, a noise.
If you hear if you hear a weird noise or feel a shimmy or a shake or something like that, stop and investigate, see what's going on.
Yeah, shimmy, shimmy, shake. That's a song you listen to on the radio.
Yeah,
you
you
don't want
probably
that
used to
happen
play
your car.
that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
But again,
Unbelievable. Really
all right.
quickly, Ron, could it go the other direction? Could they be too tight?
You could over tighten it, and in that case, it stretches the bolts or damages brake components and stuff like that. Correct. But the wheel usually doesn't come off.
Okay. All right. Well,
there you go. More questions that you have, 225-9090, or just get a hold of Ron the Car Guy, and he will answer your questions. Thank you, sir.
like you
You're
did today.
welcome.
If people want to ask you a question like this lady did, how can they get in touch with you, Ron?
Jolene sent me an email, or you can go to askronthecarguy.com, submit a question through there. I'll answer them.
Boom.
Good topics.
We'll be right back.